Hello there. This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another Zoom video, another ladies' view of body game. And today I have the lovely Miss Amadi Coleman, who's here to tell us her view of the body game philosophy. How you doing today, Amadi?
I am doing well. I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great just to have you on here. And I know you're going to go deep. You're going to hit me with something I didn't even expect. But let's just jump right into it for everybody. Body game, men having a great body. I'm telling guys out here, and I say, you know what? I got to bring some ladies on to let them know. Now, there's still going to be some knuckleheads who fight against it, but it is what it is. But your view of body games, from your point of view, how do ladies feel about men's bodies?
Well, we like men's bodies, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's the only thing that we, take into consideration when we're looking for it could be a hookup, it could be a relationship, it could be a friend, it could be anything. Attraction, well, we can't really help who we're attracted to. But there's I've been thinking about this question, and there's just so many variables when it comes to women. I know men have variables, as well, but and I'm not talking about preferences. I'm just saying there's so much involved because he could have a great body, but he might be 5 foot tall. He could have a great
Uh,
body, but his shoes, leaning to the side. He could have a great body, but his breath isn't that, you know, well. So there are a whole lot of factors involved, but yeah, I would say the foundation is a great body and a great when I say build, meaning posture. If the
oh,
posture,
okay.
yeah, if
Well,
a man holds
well,
himself well,
mhm.
that goes a long way.
Well, hold up, because that's what I really want to get into. Because of course, you've done some private webinars for me, and I totally agree with what you said. I've always told the guys, yes, the body is great, but that's the foundation, and you confirm that. But you still got to have some other things. But then you brought up posture. And I've talked about that. I was actually inspired to talk about that one time with you. And when you did a private webinar for my more private group, and you talked a lot about posture, and I was like, wow. I mean, you were getting into it. And I think the audience would like to get a perspective on that because you don't hardly hear anybody talking about it. Yeah, you hear other people, other guys talking about, yeah, hitting the gym, getting the muscles and everything, but not enough about posture. If you can share with our audience the importance of having a good posture, especially for a man.
Well, a woman is typically, generally looking to a man to protect her. Um,
Okay.
in addition to other things, but we're gonna just stop with that. Start with that one, the P, that P, the provider, or sorry, the protector. So if she is looking for him to protect her, and let's just say physically, since we're talking about the physical body, his body has to there have to be muscles developed, um, posture to your to get into answering your question and how he holds his frame, and
Mm,
I'm not referring to how much confidence he has.
mm,
I'm referring to the muscle, the muscular skeletal frame that he's worked on, because you've mentioned that you strongly advocate to your following, your male following, to get in the gym, work
mm-hmm.
out, take care of yourself, eat right, and all those things are extremely important on an individual level. But in terms of mating, it's also important because it's going to be hard for you to protect the woman physically, and God forbid any type of situation, and you haven't physically developed yourself. So in terms specifically of posture, your head should be directly over your in between your shoulders. A lot of times we sit for 5 to 8 hours a day, sometimes more if you're um, working a desk job and playing video games, if you're driving a lot, watching movies. So your head tends to lean forward a little bit more, even when you're on your
Yeah.
phone,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Definitely,
right?
definitely.
And so a lot of people don't know that just that alone, for every inch that your head leans forward, is like 10
Mhm.
extra pounds on your spine
Oh,
because of gravity and the weight of your skull and your brain.
oh, wow.
So
I
just
honestly I never heard that part about the extra weight on the spine and everything. So keep going. Don't let
yeah.
me interrupt
So
you.
so the skull, is attached to the vertebral column, which is your spine. So that has significant amount of weight on the spine. Now the spine is going to go with you, but that's still a lot of pressure to put on the spine because gravity is pulling your head forward even more, even though you have
Oh,
control of your head and it's not
okay.
just going to, spill forward. That's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, and then now you're walking, and let's say you're running, or let's say you're lifting weights and that head is still forward. So now we got extra pressure on the spine while
Mm,
we're doing this other type of physical activity. So that's number one. Your head needs to be back. So just think of your
mm,
chin coming back, and it's probably going to feel like you're a robot.
mm-hmm.
You almost feel like this is not comfortable. Chances
Yeah.
are you're probably in the ideal anatomical position in terms of your head.
Okay.
Other thing is that follows once the head goes forward, what follows? The shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
shoulders kind of fold forward. Now we've
Mm,
kind of got this temporary hunchback thing going on,
yeah.
right? So what's happening there is your pec muscles. I know the guys listening know all about the pecs because they're working on, doing chest press and everything and flies. So the pec muscles are crunched because
Mm-hmm.
we're leaning forward. Well,
Okay.
what's happening to us with the upper back? We're not sitting up. This is crunching forward. So
Mm,
the upper back muscles are being lengthened and stretched. So when
okay.
you
Okay.
decide to sit up because you see a beautiful woman walking in the room,
Okay.
you're going to feel like it's work. And then
Mm.
she leaves and she passes and she's out of your sight. You're going to go back to this because this is more comfortable, but this
Yeah.
is this is a weakened position.
Okay.
This is I'm ready for war. I'm ready for combat. I'm a warrior.
Okay.
This is I'm defeated. I'm
Ooh.
weak. So
Yeah.
think
Oh, and you imagine that too, because talking with other ladies, that y'all looking at that. Yeah, he might have like some muscles, but his posture or how he looks. And I've talked before about just body language, and that I could see how y'all would see that body language if he's all leaning forward and everything, not standing up straight it could turn y'all off because as you said, y'all looking for a protector, not necessarily to provider. I mean, money is money, but someone who could physically protect y'all.
now here's the other thing. There's
Okay.
two more pieces to this. So one piece that I want to point out is he could be ripped,
Mhm.
like bouncer, bodybuilder ripped,
Okay.
but still be leaning forward. I've seen this so many times. Well, why is that? That's because he's working on the front part of his body only,
He's not working the back.
not working the upper back. He needs to work. He needs to work his traps. He needs to work his rhomboids. He needs to work his lats. He needs to work that upper back just as much as he's working the pecs, the front muscles. He needs to be working the deltoids, the rear delts, as well as the regular delts. So that's super important because someone out there listening might say, well, I'm kind of chiseled in the front. Yeah, but you also might be slumped over as well. So that's just one little thing to remember. And the other thing in terms of posture, I'll just skip all the way down to the feet,
Okay.
where the origin point, I would say, of what my point is really at the hips. So your feet are here, and
Mm.
sometimes you see people where they walk like a kind of like a duck.
Yeah, I see.
It's
Yeah.
really, really unhealthy and it's really, really unattractive. Very
Mm.
attractive and very unhealthy because you continue to walk like that for decades and you might develop hip issues by the time you're 50, 60, 70 years old because your feet are turned out. When your feet are turned out, you are more susceptible to injury. So relating that back to protecting, you won't be able to protect anybody with a messed up hip.
Mm.
It's just taking some of those things into consideration, not just for aesthetics, but just for on an individual level, overall health and maintaining balance in the body, and not just working the front, not just working the top of the body, but also, get those chicken legs. We see a lot of men working the chest and the biceps and they got chicken legs. We don't like that. That looks very uneven to us.
Mm. Oh, wow. And just so the people watching know, Amadi is a certified personal trainer and has years of experience training men and women. And one of the things I want to thank you for, Amadi, is just bringing that in. I mean, I'm just throwing out, hey, your view of body game, you breaking it down even further, because we hear about some guys who they do. I mean, there are some guys, they might hit the gym and everything, but maybe they're not doing leg day, or maybe they're not working their back the way they should. Because I know for myself, I like back day more than chest day, because I like the feeling of it, having that strong back, because you do have to hit every part of your body. And I remember you had said before in a webinar about the feet thing. Now I'm paying attention to feet now. I'm like, oh, okay. Paying attention to my own feet. I say, oh, I'm all right.
So a great visual here is a man who has his head between his shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Chest out, shoulders back and down.
Okay.
Abs in.
Abs in. Okay.
Feet parallel.
Feet parallel. Okay.
That is perfect.
That is
that. But it's also uncommon.
Okay. So if we take it further with what you're saying, is just having just that aesthetic, like the feet right, stomach in, head right. You don't see it that often, do you?
Nope. You don't see it very often. Now, well, the good thing about this is that some women aren't, and I don't want to use the word picky, but some women don't pay attention to it as much. That could be for a variety of reasons. It could be because she's a little bit older. It could be because, the location she's in and the access that she has to certain men. It could be a whole lot of reasons, but ideally we see a man that's standing up strong, great posture. He'll probably get a second look.
Oh, okay. So, hey, okay, let me go deeper then. What does that do for a woman? I mean, how does that make y'all feel when you actually see that man?
Well, so, women are not monolithic, but in general, I would say that it won't automatically turn us on. So for example, I have friends who get physically attracted and sexually attracted automatically if they see that in a 6-foot man.
Okay.
I've got other friends, I'm included in this group, where I might be like, okay, he works out, he's doing good for himself, but I might not necessarily be physically attracted to him just because of that.
Yeah.
There's some women where it's easy for them to be attracted to a man, and then there's some women where it's going to take night and day to find someone that they're actually attracted to. And even if they find a man attractive, it doesn't even mean that they'll display choosing signals. So, women are, women are fickle. Women are.
Well, and that's the thing though, because that's one of the things I tell the guys is work on your best body. Now, definitely work on your feet and, all the stuff that you mentioned. But at the end of the day, different women are going to like different bodies, because there's been some guys who have, they'll hear about the body game philosophy. And then, other guys will talk about it. They don't use the terms because I didn't create it, just put a name to it. And they'll say, you have to be this, you have to be this. I said, no. Some women like a guy who's maybe slim and muscular, just plain slim. I've met women who's, they like a big guy, that guy got to be big. I mean, I've met some women, they tell me, some women will say, oh, you're big. Other women say, hey, you got to eat some cheeseburgers. They try to put some weight on me. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And that's what I tell guys, find your best, like try to develop your best body, but then see which women like it. Because I've had some guys, they hit me up, they say, well, I'm doing this, I'm cut, all of this, and I'm still not getting the women like that, or I'm not getting the ones I want. And I was like, you got to just pay attention to the ones who want. You got to pay attention. There's somebody for everybody, really. But the main thing I say, just present your best, though. Present your best, because as you said, y'all looking at protection, other things, but it's necessary. It's necessary. And of course, you're gonna bring some extra stuff.
Yeah, the male body, has to be somewhat pleasing for a woman to notice.
Yes.
And to take that even further, to be physically attracted, and then to take that a bit further, to be sexually attracted, because a woman can be physically attracted, but not necessarily sexually attracted.
Wait, hold on before you go further. I want you to get into that, because that's something I said a whole lot. I've told guys, like on my Patreons, in private communications on here, I said a woman can see you as handsome, physically attractive, can say, hey, but not sexually attractive. If you can just get into, from your perspective, what is the difference between physical attraction and sexual attraction? A lot of guys think it's automatically the same thing. And I know from talking with plenty of ladies, it's not. Shoot, I've been rejected by some ladies. They were like, oh, you look good. I'm like, how come you're not doing anything? It's like, oh, man. But just from your perspective, what's the difference between them? Or what's the nuances, whatever, between them, that they're not one and the same?
So I would say physical attraction can include, this is going to sound weird because I've actually never said this out loud, so I have lots of thoughts in my head. So I would say that physical attraction includes, or from the female's perspective, includes her being attracted to his attention. We like male attention, even if we don't like male. So I would say she is attracted to the way he gives her attention. Right? Yeah. Which can send mixed messages, just how you mentioned, oh yeah, you're handsome, but I'm not interested. I want your attention, but I don't want to do anything. I would also say, like you said, oh, he's handsome. He's attractive. Oh, he's fine, but I'm not sexually attracted to him for whatever reason. It could be personality clash. It could be he's a square and she's wild and free and he's a square. It could be, like I mentioned, his shoes. It could be the type of car he drives, and a lot of stuff is superficial, but it's real, so I'm just mentioning some of the things that could potentially turn her off, even though she finds him attractive. I've seen a lot of attractive men and I'm like, yeah, he's cute. I could see how other women would think he's cute. And it's similar to this. Women have experienced this. I'm not sure if men, I don't know if you all have experienced this, but I'll see a woman, I'm like, oh, I really like her dress, but I wouldn't wear it. Oh, I really like her shoes, but I wouldn't wear it. It's not my style. So something like that.
Yeah, men.
Yeah, y'all don't do that.
we just looking at her body. She could be wearing a potato sack, and if we see the shape, we not even thinking about it. Most of us. There's always exceptions, but most of us, hey, she cute face, nice body. We ain't even paying attention to the rest. And I've always told guys, y'all look at everything. Everything. Yeah. But hold up. More into the sexual thing. So, okay. You can look at a guy, he's physically attractive, but what makes him sexually attractive in your view?
So I think pheromones have a lot to do with that. If depending on the distance or the space between, like if you're close up enough to have those pheromones hit you, that definitely plays a role in it. I would also say, I would have to say it's a feeling. It's a feeling. I don't get it. I personally don't get that feeling very often. Like I can probably count on one hand in my number of years living where I was like, oh yeah, you know.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that one, that's just me. That's just me. There might be other women who's like, oh yeah, he can get it. Because I've heard women say that, oh yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
can get it, he can get it, and I'd be like, yeah, he's cute, but you know. So I think it's a feeling. I think sometimes women might even feel their vagina move, might tingle a little bit just by seeing a certain person. Maybe it's their exact type, whether or not that she can get him or not in that moment, it, doesn't dictate whether or not she's sexually attracted to him. But, it could be the cologne he's wearing. He might not be very attractive in the face, but has a good body and smells good. She might be sexually attracted to him.
Mm.
So again, a lot of various factors involved, but a little more deep than just physically attracted.
Oh, okay. And I've said that several times too, but I need to have a beautiful lady let them know.
And here's the thing, I think men and women are the opposite. I think men qualify women, and I think women disqualify men
Mm.
in terms of potential partners or mates. So a woman would be like, yeah, he's cute, but,
Mm.
but, and a man's like, yeah, I'll do it. Okay, yeah, all right, yeah, like kind of the opposite. I don't know, is that true? You find that to be true?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, she could get it. She could get it. She could get it. It's like, nah, okay, dress ain't hanging right, but she could get it. Yeah. I mean, the ones with more aggressive sex drives, I put it like that.
Yeah.
And actually, because you get some guys, they might be more repressed, but then guys will say it publicly, but a lot of guys know they've gotten with some women that they probably wouldn't be seen with in public. So, you're pretty much right. You're pretty much right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't want to like go a long time because I know how really deep you can go on it. What would you say just overall advice you would give to men? Just a final advice you would give to men as far as body game, working out, getting their bodies. Any final things to say on it?
I would say focus on how your body feels,
Mm.
because I think that'll take you a longer way than, oh, let me work out for women. How does
Okay.
my body feel? How does my body function? Is it doing what it's supposed to do? How do I
Okay.
feel when I'm in the gym? I like the feel of the burn. And also make sure you're stretching.
Mm.
Um, I would say, don't work out with, I don't want to use the word obligation, but there's a difference between, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get to the gym versus, dang, I gotta go to the gym.
Mm.
So that mindset, your mindset is everything. And if you are doing it for something outside of yourself, then it sometimes could feel like a ball and chain, because there are a lot of people that don't like working out. They just authentically, they don't like working out and they're just doing it for whatever reasons. And, a lot of times they fall off because it's not coming from within. So I would say, check your mindset. I would say, be consistent. I would say, if you're going to work the front, work the back. If you're going to work the front, work the back to maintain balance. I would say stretch. And I would, the last thing I would say is just to put things into perspective. You've got, let's say, a male ballet dancer over here, and then you've got a bouncer over here.
Mm-hmm.
A beautiful marriage between the two of them would be the perfect body for a man or a woman. You've
Okay.
got the built up muscles of a bouncer. So you've seen bouncers, right? They walk
Yeah.
around with their arms out like this. So they're walking around with their arms out like this, not because that's their chosen posture. They're walking around like this because their muscles are holding them up. Like they can't bring their arms down because their muscles are so developed and they're attached to the bone that they literally walk around like this. Like they can't just put their arms in, right? They're probably not flexible.
Okay.
The male ballet dancer probably doesn't have as much muscle build, does have some, but not as much as the bouncer over here, but is extremely flexible.
Okay.
So you want somewhere in the middle where you've got strength and flexibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is great. That is great. I wanted to touch on something you said about working out for yourself. Well, as much as I promote body game, I stress constantly at my age, I work out for health. Older men, especially, need to do resistance training. And I say I'm working out more for health than anything else. Any other benefit I get from it, great, but about the health. And in fact, when I've talked about body game, a lot of people know for me, yeah, hitting the gym, but I've said several times in videos, even in front of live audiences, it was like that's just the base for men. You need the vehicle. If you can't really do much, if you're not moving around or you in pain or you're not flexible, you can't just do the work. I don't care what it is. Even if you sit at a desk 8 hours a day, you not if you're not working out, trust me, you might fall asleep or something. Anything. You got to do it for your health to move around in life. And yes, definitely the ladies are a benefit, but ultimately it's for yourself. And I like how you said about going to the gym for yourself. Yeah. That's the important thing because many guys might try to say, I'm going to do it for ladies, but they never last in the gym. I've been in gyms and guys say, yeah, I'm going to get some ladies, but anybody who's really worked out, there's going to be some times you're tired, you don't feel like working out, and it's easy to get out of the rhythm. Very, very easy. So it has to be really a part of your lifestyle. So that's very important.
There's two things from what you were saying that popped into my head. One is, so I'm not sure if this is a truth or a myth, but when you take an obese man and put him through some kind of strength training or, exercise protocol, and he loses the weight and he tones up and he, the fat goes away and he's getting healthier and in shape, he tends to experience the illusion that his penis grows. I don't want to say illusion, but his penis grows. When you're obese, it seems like your penis shrinks. So I want to put that out there for the fellas. And the other thing I want to put out there is the more cardio you do, which basically means heart, I believe in Greek, the more you're working your heart cardio, the more stamina you'll have in the bedroom. So yeah, you might get the ladies, but you want to keep them, right? So one component of keeping them is, handling your business in the bedroom. And you do not want to be a 5-minute man. 10 minutes, maybe 15, maybe, but you don't want to be a 5-minute man because you huffing and puffing because you are out of shape.
Amen. So. Amen. And on that note, Marty, I want to thank you again for just taking a time out of your day to just really address this. And, as I said, I want guys to hear from the ladies. I'm not just some guy talking about this. I want y'all perspective. And, you're going to have a perspective. Miss Angel had a perspective. If I have a third lady on here, she'll probably have a perspective. But at the end of the day, it's just about a man being the best version of himself. That's a part of it. And that's the main thing. That's the main thing. Yes. So I want to thank you again. And for everybody else, I want everybody to keep rising, and peace and blessings. Peace.